I don't have a clock or a watch. I've got two cats. And they tell me what the time is. No, seriously, they project numbers on the side of the... I've just come in from the workshop. It's fucking 8 PM. Jesus, I went out there at about 10 AM this morning. Anyway. William Doug, what are you like? The world's better with a bit of gommies. So true, man. So true. Anyway. So, updates. You know I like to update you chaps. Okay, for my American chums and the kick-ups for the Luxes, my drillings are done. Unfortunately, I haven't got my 1032 taps here. They're all in my workshop. Otherwise, I would have tapped them. And then all I have to do is the gas ports. But I can't do the gas ports until the tapping's done. What you have to understand with these things is you've got different bolts running through different axes. So, because your bottom of your trigger frame is flat, but the area we want to bolt the ASA to is at an angle. So we've got to have two bolts at one angle, two at another. But these bolts also want to pass through each other. So you have one bolt that's going through straight, even though the mount itself is at an angle. And then you have to have one going through at an angle. Oh, that's not actually going to fit in there. That's a pretty poor choice, that one. Let's do this one. Is that going to work? Oh yeah, there we go. You see the different angles. And there you see that that one now wants to touch that one. But you have to keep them separate when you're doing the drillings and the tappings inside this block. So you can't have two nuts. You can't have two. We've all got two nuts. Hitler didn't, apparently. From the First World War, he got blown up in a trench, lost a nut. Bust a nut. Bust a nut bar. I'm 24 hours deep in the pussy. Name the film. Anyway, I think you already guessed that one. And then, to make matters worse, all the bolt holes have to be drilled on the same axis as well. So you can't offset bolts and have them squeeze past each other. Ooh, like that. Oh, oh. Because it won't work. You'll end up with your ASA being pissed or offset. Yeah. I've been having some tentative goes on. Well, not goes. I've been watching some of the Battlefield 1 play, and with the old sniper rifles with a scope on the side, I just know I'm just going to get so many dumbass questions from the various paintball community. In fact, I'm going on holiday. No, it doesn't work. That's why I stopped doing it. And it was only the English had the scope on the side, Germans had a centre scope. But why are we talking about that? We're end up talking about First Strike again. And you know how upset the sniper paintball community gets if you diss anything they don't like it. So, anyway, that's that one done. Not done. It's about 50% complete. The rest is tidy up. I will be treating myself to a day off this week. And when I do that, I'll finish these off. I only have to finish off two of them. But when I cut the billets, when I cut one billet in half, it makes two blocks. But I've already cut that billet in half. So now I've got half a billet. So I might as well take that billet and cut that again. So now I've got 4 blocks. I will only be doing 2 of these as gas through for the Lux. But if you want one, get in contact with me and I'll make it to order. I'm not going to have them sitting on the shelf anymore because I'm not prepared to lend stuff out because of what happens to it. I.e. the last block I showed you in the last video. Namely that one that's now had all the threads and everything ripped out. Anyway, moving on, not being bitter. So this is from my friend Paul Newman. Yeah, Paul Newman. Yeah, no, really, yeah. It's a different Paul Newman, but his name is Paul Newman. Lovely fella, into his bikes. Anyway, so this is the hinge we've been making for him. Now, of course, I should have put my thinking hat on, right? Because it is a 50s building, 50s, 60s, that sort of time era. Now the thing is, this is what we call the post-war period, and you know, rationing went right on in the middle of the 50s, especially material rationing. And material rationing was still with us around in the 60s when they were getting back to building infrastructure and council estates and stuff like that, which is why a lot of brass pipes in those days weren't brass. They were sort of a bronzy, zincy affair. So if you're living in a house that was built in the 60s, your pipe's going to leak because they're not brass or copper. Yeah, they're some cheapy substitute, which is leading us onto this bracket. Now, of course, in classic buildings, I've always seen fixtures and fittings of this particular time ilk made in brass, but there's just been a Second World War in there, so there isn't any brass. There's no brass to be had anywhere. They've made it into bullets and thrown it off the side of boats. This is bronze, and this does create a real, I wouldn't say problem, but it's not very good. The machine is bronze. Anyway, we have oiked out this hole. This hole is getting a metal sleeve in here because this pin is, and this pin won't come out of this block. Now the problem I've got is I thought, yeah, I'll just take that pin out, put that in my lathe, turn it up, make a sleeve to match. Can't mount this in my lathe. I've only got a 3-jaw chuck. You need a 4-jaw independent chuck, and I don't got one. I don't got one. I don't got one, girlfriend. That's for my friends in Pennsylvania. Although I think I might be off the geological map there somewhere a little bit. Anyway, so Paul, this is, I told you his name was Paul Newman. This is actually going to have to go off to an outside engineer's. I've got nothing bigger for this. And being bronze, I don't want to make any mistakes with this because this will suffer. And this is a metal pin in a bronze housing. I'm never going to get that metal pin out. The more force I put on there to try and get it out, the more it will resist coming out because it's 2 different types of material. If someone can tell me that effect, you can have this spring. So 2 different types of material rubbing against each other under pressure creates more friction. The effect was called the something effect. And I'm going to leave it there. Although I could give you a clue, the effect was first used in the original Thompson machine gun. Now you're just going to go and look that up, and I've made it too easy, haven't I? Anyway, come back to me and you can win a spring. So tomorrow we'll be off to a jobbing shop, get that sorted out for you, then we'll be back to put this back on, then we can get those doors hung back up. But I'll give you a little tinkle. I'll catch it in a jar. Yeah. This is a crazy world, man. The other thing is, I can't even mount that in, I can't even put that in a magnetic face either. And I don't have a face plate before anybody goes, oh, but you can put that in a face plate. Just in case Mr. A. Hunter likes to get in touch and tell me how to use machinery. Oh dear. Anyway, so that is it from me today, and I'm going to do this Lux, find out where it's leaking from. I'll keep the light on. That was meant as like that, and then hit the off button, but obviously the off button's not here, it's behind the camera. So I'm going to fix it up. Bye bye.